At the end of the rainbow there's happiness, and to find it how often I tried. But my life is a race, just a wild goose chase, and my dreams have all been denied. Why have I always been a failure? What can the reason be? I wonder if the world's to blame. I wonder if it could be me. I'm always chasing rainbows, watching clouds drifting by. My schemes are just like all my dreams, ending in the sky. Some fellows look and find the sunshine. I always look and find the rain. Some fellows make a winning sometime. I never even make a gain. Believe me, I'm always chasing rainbows, waiting to find a little bluebird in Some fellows look and find the sunshine. I always look and find the rain. Some fellows make a winning sometime. I never even make a gain. Believe me, I'm always chasing rainbows, waiting to find a little bluebird in the
If you can hear this, do not adjust your Aethervox. This is the Avalon Society Emergency Broadcast Network. You're listening to a recount of the real events surrounding the catastrophe which occurred in the city of London at the end of May 1907. With the skies above London opening portals to the realm of Malifaux, drowning the city of London in a deluge of doom, chaos erupts as a colossal cantankerous cadaver creates carnage in the cathedral at Westminster. Our daring group battles with the beast and manages to disable its mechanical heart, stopping it dead in its tracks. With the maker of the mechanical malady beckoning them into the nunnery, will our stalwart squadron stand firm against the sinister spectre, or will they suffer a fate worse than death? Stay tuned and find out in today's episode of London Falls!
G'day guys and welcome. My name is Michael and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer and welcome to episode 9 of Avalon Society London Falls, our Through the Breach adventure that is following the story of these incredible actors as as they play their characters going through an absolute catastrophe that is occurring over the city of London in the early 1900s. Portals have opened over the skies and have dumped deluges of icy cold seawater onto the city, flooding, killing, destroying, and ripping apart much of the city. Our adventurers have taken some refuge for the time being and have caught up on their, their thoughts and their feelings towards what's going on. But from here on in, fair viewer, I have no control. I had a plan for my adventure. And as of last week, that has been taken apart by, of course, you guys in the audience. Through the actions of our donations, which allow us to interact and do some cool stuff with the adventure, we have had 2 quite incredible bosses thrown against our heroes, and they have managed to overcome both challenges thus far. But it has, of course, shifted the timeline and moved things forward and backwards. So I guess we're going to have to see how our heroes go. But, of course, to tell you more about these awesome and incredible people, let's, of course, throw the mic across to our actors themselves, starting, of course, with none other than the ever-wonderful, ever-colorful Myri, playing the role of Ludovica. Hello, Myri.
Ever colorful or black and white?
The monochromatic.
The monochromatic plus lipstick Myri. Hello, good morning from Germany, where it's actually morning. I'm Myri from Orange Butter TV, and I'm playing an undead woman who has now gotten an undead giant steed made of dead nuns. Yes, that's what happens in this game. Blah.
Yep, a giant golem made of nuns. Whew, I'm glad I'm not back in Catholic school. I feel like I would get a swift ruler smack to the hand for having come up with that. But nonetheless,
No. This is already spanking your bottom material. I'm pretty sure.
Is it? Oh, right. That's right. Early 1900s. My apologies. Cricket bats with holes in it. That's what you had. So anyway, moving right along. Speaking of course, discipline. There is no greater discipline than that, of course, of the full length of the long arm of the law. And what better individual to instill this than our ever wonderful Guy from How to Be a Great Game Master, playing the role of Edward. Hello, Guy.
So that puts the law at about 2.5 feet, is it?
You have 2.5 feet long arms?
Yeah, give or take. I don't know.
I'm
Look, I'm a barrister, not a measuring quantities of air. Now, moving on. Yes, hello, everybody. How are we all doing today? I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Yes, so that's me. I'm here. What are we supposed to be doing here? Telling them who we are. I'm Guy. How to be a great GM. Find me at www.greatgamemaster.com. There we go. Done.
Well done.
Yes.
Yep, cool. And you're playing?
I think it's 2.5 feet though.
Oh. I mean, if I measure my feet and no, anyway. So next up, of course, being represented by the ever wonderful lawyer himself is none other than the beautiful prima donna Hortensia Fiddlewick, played by the equally beautiful Janet. Hello, Janet.
Hello. Yes, prima donna Hortensia Fiddlewick is an opera singer. She's not entirely sure why London is melting around her. She's not entirely sure why leather rooms start attacking the party with large eyes and mouths in places that should not have mouths with mouths on them. It's been quite a ride. It's certainly been fascinating. Yeah, I'm loving the game so far. It's wonderful to have a character like that thrives in one environment and to throw her into another environment and just see what happens. And I've really loved the moments where she's just like, well, let's get on with this then. And then the moments where she just completely comes apart.
You know, I kind of, in the back of my head, play out a scene where this is happening if Hortensia wasn't with the group. And it would come along the parts of, like, she's there with a publicist, and the publicist is, like, panicking, like, oh my God, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. And she's just there with tea and biscuits going, who is it? Well,
right, exactly.
Better bring the laundry in. You know, like, just so matter of fact about it all. No, no. Wonderful character and definitely one of the very flamboyant ones. Speaking of flamboyant, of course, none other speaks to it than the man, the gremlin, the instrument of misery and woe. The
And moonshine.
yes, yes, but just I don't know. I feel like I've got a long list of adjectives, and I'm just going to go straight to the bottom. And just like that, I'm back on track with Billum, the Gremlin. Hi, played by Anthony. Hi, Anthony.
Hey guys, yes, I'm Anthony from Roll for Damage, otherwise known as Video My Dangerous. And yes, I play Billum, specializing in getting up inside things.
I tried to weave that pun in. It took me a while. I got there in the end, but did and of course, Billum serves the ever very very stoic but very wizened individual who seems to have actually taken not a shine but a very very level head to the scenario that he happens to find himself in. Professor John Scarpati, played by the equally level-headed Till. G'day, Till.
Hi all, hi, nice to be here again. Yeah, so I'm playing Professor John Scapati, an old archaeologist, or that's what he pretends to be. And I got my ass kicked in the last game. I'm not really sure how well I am at the moment. But not only my character got his ass kicked, but Till himself got the very heart rate increasing situation where he suddenly had to GM for a minute. And
Oh yeah, I did that,
that,
didn't I?
that left an impression. It definitely did. I think I would do that to one of my players very soon because holy crap. So I'm Till from Dungeon Fog. And if you want to find us, it's dungeonfog.com or at Dungeon Fog on the Twitter and social media and Facebook and wherever you look. It's a map making tool, so if you're interested in battle maps, check that out.
All right, fantastic. All right, without any further ado, let us begin. Starting, of course, with the scene inside Westminster Abbey. You gather around, having just dealt with the convent and the monstrosities there that lie within. Having defeated the mad priest turned resurrectionist, you now gather back in the main auditorium where people wait with bated breath in order to try and find out what had happened. Where's the soldier? He went with you, and of course, what did you find out? Is there hope? Is the priest okay? Where are the nuns? All these questions and more are met with a sort of a grim look on everyone's face. Now,
And a slightly amused one with Ludovica.
and one kind of like, a non-disclosure agreement. You know that says a non-disclosure agreement, right?
I believe it's appropriate given the circumstance.
Okay.
You should change it into NUN and none. I'm just going to show myself on.
Oh, all right. So yes, you find yourself in the abbey itself, and there are lots of people around. The first one to approach you, once you return from the convent, is none other than the priest, a man who sort of
Dougal.
seems to look a bit flustered. He sees the monstrosity that's still traveling with you, and it's kind of at a point where, in desperate times, they're not really going to turn away any kind of help. So the priest looks you all over and says, "Pardon, but I don't suppose you know what happened to the dear priest inside. I gather, since he's not with you, that some terrible fate must have befallen him."
Yes. Yes. He befell us, and then we befell him, and it was terrible. So I suppose you could say that. Yes.
Let's say he made his peace with this world. He is now where he always strived to be, I assume.
I see.
They put him in paces.
Yeah, Billum.
The priest looks a little bit concerned at Billum, but then slowly nods. He says, "Well, I think I'll perhaps lead the others in a silent prayer for the passing of our dear priest."
Before you do that, Your Eminence, Just out of sheer blind curiosity, I don't suppose that there's any way out of this place of worship at all that doesn't necessarily have a street level access. So perhaps an old evacuation tunnel from the days when members of the church were persecuted, or when they were hiding those that they were persecuting, I know, something like that. Or you don't have to have a flying machine in the belfry, do something like that.
Well, I'm afraid no such flying machine exists. But as for the tunnels, well, you see, there is the underground reliquary. We often use it for ceremonies and the like. Some say that there's a passageway that actually runs deep in the underground. They say that back in the time of the old kings, it was used in order to sequester away those seeking sanctuary during the Civil War.
Ah. Professor, do you think that might facilitate us extricating ourselves to your bunker?
Well, I let's hope that they, well, are not flooded completely, but if they remain intact, I think this might help us to get a little bit of, heads up on getting away from here. And we need to go to, if we want to get to the Primrose Hill, to my warehouse where I have all my stuff stored, there we might find what we need. So we should get there.
Every time Professor Scarpati brings up this building, you kind of watch a very noticeable tick in Billem's left ear that just sort of wiggles a bit.
I don't suppose, Father, you saw that lovely soldier come back this way, did you?
No, I can't say I did. Yes, no, he followed. Actually, no, he was in there before you were.
Yes, he was. But then, well, I shall spare you the details. But eyes and mouths, I think, covers it. And then he wasn't there. I assumed he must have seen the better part of valor and run.
Well, no, he if he had, he would have come through here. But well, I mean, the only other place he may have gone is perhaps the belfry.
Interesting. Thank you, Father.
You're welcome. He then sort of
don't tell anyone, will you, about this whole thing? Really, awful business.
No, not at all. But I must say, if you are planning to leave, perhaps maybe if wherever you're going, Primrose Hill, I believe you said, if you can make the way clear, I might be able to escort some of these people out. While the walls seem to have protected us from the surge of the waters thus far, the temperature is dropping quite significantly. And I fear that if it remains as thus at nightfall, we may have problems beyond these monstrous demonic creatures to fare off against.
I look at the giant fleshy construct of nuns. Yes, quite. Madam Molenbeek, how long do you think that thing is going to last?
Considering the size of the soulstone inside, and depending on what we do with it, between 2 months and 10,000 years. Why are you asking?
I was merely curious. It has proven itself quite useful in combating those that we seem to have encountered. I was hoping it would be able to come with us, but well, if it's going to last that long, it's going to outlive all of us, isn't it?
Not outlive per se, but yes,
right,
out-exist, definitely.
Yeah, right. Well, unless anyone has anything to do here, I suggest we make all speed, perhaps. Professor, I think the lead is yours here.
Yeah, would you give me a minute, though, please? Billum, can you come over here quickly?
Certainly.
Professor and Billum, Yeah, the professor and Billum make their way to a small, quiet corner. There's a small communion box with a charity kind of, please donate and give generously. Current fund is to repair the roof of the fire department. Um, as you read that, you can kind of see this small bell from the fire department, ding, 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 sort of floating down the river of the Thames, washed away. Um, yeah. There's about maybe 7, 8 script just tucked away here. But it is a quiet place and no one can hear you.
Perfect. Look, that last fight, that took me really hard, and I'm not sure if I will make it, because my old and achy bones are kind of showing. So I think you've proven quite trustful, although I know that you had your own little scheme running up against me. But I was able to relate on you. I was able to trust you, and I think, given the situation, given the circumstances, it would be better if you would have one of those. And I grab into my pocket and I pull out one of the warehouse keys, and I will hand it to Billum, and I say, if I don't make it, this is the key that gives you access to the warehouse. And by the way, and this one here, you should keep, because there are further instructions if you want to run and continue my business. And I give a little leather handbook that is with personal notes, and it's like a little notebook with all the important contacts and lists and things there. And I say, you see, I think you will be a great successor if I don't make it. I hope I do, and I hope I will retire. But if not, take care of the group. Make sure that they make it. You have my trust, friend. And I will pat him and just go.
Up until this point, the John Scarpati, the man you have known, Billum, for quite some time, has always been a very weak and frail individual. Not weak in the sense of mind or anything like that, but you know, it almost feels like he walks with a wispiness to his nature, and his hands have always kind of felt light and very easy to kind of lift stuff off. But for the first time, as John pats you on the shoulder and hands you this key, you feel a weight that you've never felt before. This is the weight of trust and responsibility. It is heavier than you thought it was as you hold the key in your hand, possibly the last remaining key to the treasure of the man known as John Scarpati.
Billum looks at both the book and the key, knowing that the key is what he's always desired. It's been his main goal the whole time. But I think from what he's just been told and the fact that he now holds the metaphorical responsibility within the book, Billum sheds a green colored tear, knowing that he has to make this hard choice. He puts both in his jacket pockets. I think Billum will walk back to the group and just sort of, rather than like his normal rambunctious self, just sit cross-legged. Silence.
Very well. A few moments pass. While they're off to the side, Ludovica, is there anything that you wish to do before we move on?
I was thinking about trying to find spare kidneys somewhere.
This particular game is that once you're out of combat, you can take as long as it requires in order to heal up. I'm going to say, for the purposes of expedience, it is currently, let's see, I say 3 hours, so 6, 7, 8, 9. It's about 9 p.m., give or take. So by waiting an hour and setting out at 10 p.m., you guys will have fully restored your hit points.
Nice.
You mean to tell me you want us to go out after 10 p.m. at night? I might have done that 40 years ago, but now, all right. Well, someone wake me up when we're ready to go.
You watch as you find a small pew, and in this particular church, there's actually a small little under section for the seats that have these cushions on it. You make yourself this tiny little bed. Yes. Hortensia.
I would like to find the sacramental wine to make myself a cocktail.
Oh, super easy to make. However, with very little to chase it with, your choices are red wine cut with bread.
Yes. Okay. So I make a cocktail of red wine cut with a soupçon of holy water, and some crumbs of bread on the top. And I sit back and look at the nave of the cathedral and wish that it really were a boat. We could just sail away, but it's not a boat. No, it's firmly attached to the cathedral. Sadly, I think I'm going to have to get wet soon. Again.
After your deep and longing sigh, you look up for a moment and you think you see something crawling on the roof.
Yeah, I don't want to look at that. I don't want to know what giant spiders have been breeding for centuries on the ceiling of Westminster Abbey. I do not care. I know they don't clean it. I'm just going to cover my drink.
Very well. Very well. At 10 p.m. sharp, everyone is awakened and prepares to make their way out. The priest is giving quite a nice little service for the soldier and the priest. He is presumed dead. And you are taken down behind the actual what do you call it? Behind the altar, and down into the priest's office. There is another entranceway blocked by a steel door, which the priest has keys to, and opens, heading down a flight of stairs into a dark reliquary made of stone. As you begin to make your way down, you can see a number of dusty old tomes kept in this area on large bookshelves that stretch out in this almost cellar-like place. There are some very old vintages of communion wine that are placed out here. Some are for the reception of the Pope. Others are for the receptions of the Queen. Others are simply commemorative bottles. The marriage of Queen Elizabeth and Albert and all of that. You can see behind the wine rack itself is what appears to have been very poorly concealed, a narrow passage.
Interesting.
The priest.
Guy, you are muted.
Someone has cast silence.
I'm just doing the sort of how narrow exactly? Some of us have got quite short arms, apparently, but we have not necessarily got short. Well, we're very well protected against hijacking and kidnapping and that sort of thing. Let's put it that way. It's difficult to drag us away.
Well, this is narrow in the sense of height and not girth. While it is quite a reasonably wide area, it is, however, causing some of you to stoop. The large golem-esque creature, which has been lumbering behind you, thankfully, however, is actually not limited by the imaginations of bone and body and the like. And you watch as its form begins to bend, break, and reshape itself into something more akin to, I guess, a salamander, or a large sort of salamander. Its arms are basically 4 torsos that are spread out with a multitude of hands that sort of scurry it across the ground as it scuttles. I wish there was another word that I could use, but scuttle is the only appropriate one I could think of. It fits now. And is kind of big that way instead of big that way. It is the Nunapilla.
Okay, well, that was horrific. I feel my cocktail coming back up again, having seen flesh. Yeah, that was not fine to watch. I am not okay now. That was worse.
Ludovica just
Hortensia?
just lets it follow behind her without batting an eye.
Yep.
Eyelash.
Hortensia, you know you're an illusionist.
Sorry?
You know you're an illusionist. You can make it look like a puppy, right?
Yes.
Do you wish
It's
to do
now
so?
a puppy.
A tiny little Scottish Terrier now stands behind Ludovica. However, the Scottish Terrier is still a simulacrum that is large, and it doesn't lose any of its stats. It just looks like a Scottish Terrier.
Yeah, it's adorable. It's got little bow tie made of tartan material.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay, that's fine. This is better. Yes. This is why we have illusions, people. We don't always need to see what is real. Sometimes it's better to kid oneself that the world is okay.
How much is that per hour? Just comparing whether it would be better to hire an illusionist instead of doing all the makeup every day.
Oh, well, it depends. You would probably need to have an attendant with you at all times. How much that would cost really depends on the skill, and the availability. Probably about.
Well, I was asking the prima donna.
Oh, my apologies. I'll just fade back into narrative land.
Disappearing into the bushes.
Yeah.
Well, darling, considering how the performing career goes, perhaps we can talk about it, because yes, I'm not fancying the Opera House's chances after this. We'll see, I suppose.
Well, I suppose, Professor, you should lead. Given that we know, well, that you know where you're going, I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, yeah, Edward, I will take the lead. Just give me a minute, because my back is not in the best shape for this kind of tunnel, and I will slowly duck down a little bit, and I will pull out my pistol, and yeah, I will start to Yoda forward into the tunnel.
Right. The priest says a silent prayer as you begin your entrance into the tunnels. Now, the tunnels beneath London are quite labyrinthian. In order to try and navigate yourself to Primrose Hill, we are going to go through an ongoing challenge. As part of this, what we require is for you guys to be flipping cards equal to a challenge that I will be setting. Eddie, can we get the cards up on the screen, please? I know we haven't flipped anything yet, but it will become important. Thank you, Eddie. All right. So the skills that we will be using are... No, stop it. Okay, we've got Notice, Wilderness, Track, and History.
Well,
your target number, in order to succeed, is 10. And you require 6 successes before 3 failures.
May I start off noticing things? Because I'm good at exactly one of those skills.
All right. Okay, whoever wishes to go first may make the first flip of the game, which is a 5.
Plus 5 is exactly 10. This undead horse won't jump higher than it needs to.
Okay, very well. All right, so with a very swift... Oops, no. Sorry. With a very swift hand, you... I got you, Eddie. There we go. With a very swift hand, you begin to make your way. Looking around, you recognize some of these tunnels. You, for one reason or another, know exactly where septic runoff tends to go through, and you can follow the pipelines and go, okay, we don't go that way. we don't go this way. And you are helping navigate, at least to avoid those dead ends and nasty areas that, are mostly submerged. Second check.
This is definitely the Surgeon's Guild. We need to go this way.
You see that there's like this severed arm bobbing in the water. It waves back.
I can try and use.
Just Janet there for a second.
I can try and use my history of the rather peculiar nature of the sewage system of old London to try and navigate us if anyone doesn't object. I can try and recall from my lessons where the pipes went, if anyone doesn't mind.
Go for it, dear.
I
Sooner the
Edward,
better.
That is a very, very clever idea because combined with my experience in exploring tombs and old crypts, I'm good at wilderness. But having your history as a backup would help a lot.
Right. Very good. Well, if I recall my lessons correctly, wait a minute, it's coming to me now. Yes, there we go. As long as I cheat fate, I get 14 on history with that cheat. If I recall, we should turn left now. You're muted, Mike. Michael, you're muted.
Thank you. The left-hand turn takes you immediately into the maintenance tunnels. A rather clean and rather it's mostly rain runoff here. So that smell of gray water slowly begins to fade as you actually turn back through the right levels of the streets. All right. Who wishes to go next?
I will call on my wilderness skills not to lose track here and make sure that my instinct tells me we're still in the right direction. Yep.
All right. Once again, your instincts do prove correct. As you remember, you've been here. You kind of can hear the sounds of the streets above. There's mostly just the sounds of water, but the surge that seems to come from the flooded storm drains nearby seem to have not affected this area of the underground. But you do hear it nearby. You can literally feel it against the walls, and understanding that these are likely the Underground Railroad tunnels nearby, that's probably where this water is rushing from, meaning that is the direction you need to go. All right, who wishes to go next?
Likewise with Johnny, I tend to be able to smell my way around the wilderness pretty well, particularly in a dank, dark area or a sewer. And that'll be a total of an 8. So.
All right, an 8 is...
I object. No, I object. Objection. Wait a minute, I've got it here. Just give me a moment. Cease and desist. That'll do, won't it? Right? No, objection. I want objection. Absolutely. Right, there you are. Objection, you see? Right here.
Very well. You may discard a card from your hand in order to object. And, well, Billum, apparently your sense of smell is not as bad as that, so try again.
Oh, you're right. It's over this way.
You can actually smell you smell the rainwater is fresher in this direction, and that is the way you indeed head as you make your 4th success. Consecutive
Someone without a nose, I tend to be able to smell pretty well.
That's very true. It's very true. You're doing very well for someone without a nose. Hortensia.
It's notice, history, or tracking, correct?
Or wilderness.
Or wilderness. Yes. There's not a lot of charm in there, is there? No.
Unless you can charm your way out of the sewer.
That's a lovely pipe, isn't it?
Actually,
what a lovely pipe that is.
You know what? I have something for you. Make a unrelated prestidigitation check.
Now that, my dear, I can theoretically do.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Except that I cannot. That is the black joker.
No, that's the red joker, my dear. That is the
Oh!
that is the that is the
Oh, I beg
super
your
good
pardon.
one.
I was thrown off by the grey
Okay.
hue.
All right, so I don't have a character for this. All right, so Eddie, I'm gonna challenge you here. If you can, and again, this is only if you can, I'd like you to remove me from the Fate Master box and put me behind the Encounters box. There you go. Let's see if you can do that, Eddie. If you can't, that's okay as well. So, as Hortensia makes her way down through the sewers and the like, you can hear the sounds of static coming from nearby. The sound of an old Aethervox just sort of crackling in the distance. It's a little bit unusual, obviously, because, well, why would anything electronic be down here?
Indeed.
And as you eventually make your way towards the noise, Hortensia, you can see an individual hunched over the Aethervox with what appears to be a small circular radio microphone that has a, kind of one of those, well, quite literally, like, one of those old little, radio heads. As you see this individual, he looks to you, and as he does so, you notice he seems to be quite peculiar. His eyes are a little bit too big, and he almost has a very Cheshire cat kind of look about him. As he sort of sees you, it starts with an alarm, but then a smile creeps over his face. As he looks in your direction, you look back at him. What's your initial response to this individual?
Cooey. Hello? 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 Hello there. Hello? Cooey.
My. If it isn't none other than Hortensia Fiddlewick herself. I must say, I'm a big fan. I didn't expect to see you down here with all of the rundown muck, but needless to say, I'm quite pleasant for the company.
Indeed. My word, how articulate you are. I'm sure, as you are such a big fan, you would love to help us out and assist us in the direction of Primrose Hill. I wonder, you seem like such a smart gentleman. I'm sure you could manage this.
Oh, of course. I would love to help you, but you see, there are some, well, peculiarities that prevent me from being able to point you in the direction of the Primrose Hill. Nonetheless, however, there is certain things I might be able to afford you. Rules and stipulations and whatnot. Things aren't what they seem, and they become even more awkward when a man steps into his own story. I hope you understand, of course.
Indeed. Now, what peculiarities pervade to the pertinent location of Primrose Hill? Prominent area.
The prominent problem that I seem to be facing is, of course, none other than the part on behalf of one of you. You see, the Primrose Hill is, of course, a well-guarded institution, and, well, my kind isn't exactly permitted to pass through these rather pesky wards. Nonetheless, I can still point you in the right direction, but I require a little bit of assistance from none other than your fabulous self.
Indeed. Well, whatever pesky and pernicious problem we face, I'm sure we are, no doubt, we'll handle it with the proper decorum.
Phenomenal. He reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out what appears to be a blood-stained, soaked paper cloth covered with a runic symbol you don't recognize. Something that appears to be very akin to the symbols that you found at the top of Big Ben. The rather handsome and debonair individual passes you the parchment.
Lovely, thank you.
By the way, it does seem like he is narrating his own actions.
What precisely should I perform with this piece of flotsam?
That's an F. But nonetheless, what you should do once you arrive at Primrose Hill, you'll find a small guild. Well, let's call it a statue with this sinister-looking statuesque thing, I want you to stick that sticker cleanly upon the stoic form.
I shall
Do
place it upon the promontory.
Then you will want to be traveling this way, down 3 blocks. Once you arrive, simply knock on the wall 4 times, and you will find yourselves a stairway to the surface.
Perfect. We shall pertain to be as prompt as possible. Thank you so much, you dear lovely man.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure, Prima Donna. And might I say, for the rest of you, pleasant travels.
You watch as he straightens up. He takes his equipment, seems to tap on the floor, and then basically walk off very almost jauntily in the direction you guys came from. So he walks kind of towards you, past you, and away in the distance.
What a peculiar person.
What just happened?
I couldn't pertain to ponder, but we have been given this peculiar parchment, and I suppose we must place it upon the promontory of the statue.
What statue?
But the statue, we have been told, is in Primrose Hill. Look, he said it's this way. I suggest we believe the strange man who lives in the sewer. It's been that kind of day, hasn't it?
That, and you also sort of committed by saying that you will actually do that act. So if you were to not do it, it would be violating the contract that you have with him. So I think it behooves us to comply.
A verbal contract with no witnesses?
Well, apart from the 4 of us, but yes.
Yeah. Smile.
Well, perhaps she promised this pesky peasant.
I suppose. Besides, I'm not sure how long that illusion is going to stay on Goliath, and I'd rather not be in such close quarters when he reappears. Come on, darlings, let's go. Come on, some fresh air will do us good. Yes, come on, darlings. And I steam off like a train in the direction that he pointed.
Right. Now, here's the question. Now, this is for the final challenge. Do you follow the directions as given to you by the rather peculiar individual, or do you kind of try to make it on your own? The choice is still entirely yours.
Well, I guess that's up to the prima donna because she's steaming ahead.
That's also true.
We're just following in her wake.
I will follow the directions I've been given unless somebody advises me otherwise.
Anyone?
Oh, that sounds perfectly reasonable. There's a guy in the sewer with a microphone talking to himself and narrate. No, why don't we trust him? I think this is really good.
Yes.
Very true.
While we are following, could I have a look at the paper?
Yes. The paper looks very much like some of the symbols, as mentioned, that you saw atop Big Ben. The ones that the Neverborns wrote on, for the whole portal ritual thing that they did. This is kind of a symbol, a single solitary,
With being a little bit experienced in that field, could I read more out of the symbol? Could I try to interpret it?
Yes, make a sorcery check if you would be so kind.
How about necromancy?
Well, alas, necromancy is the furthest thing from the type of magic this happens to be.
Well, okay, in that case, I can't really read it. It's
You
like
can try.
I could try.
You can always
Yeah,
try. Nothing wrong with trying. Yeah, no, there's got nothing.
Yeah, no, it's like
It's a thing.
It's a beautiful symbol.
Yeah.
Thank you, prima donna.
Oh, you're welcome. Come on. I think it's this way. Come on. It was this way, right? Yes, I'm certain it was.
All right, so the next person who makes a check does get a positive flip on it. So again, athletics, history, notice, and wilderness and track.
Smells fishy. I don't really like it. If you think it's good though, John, you got my backing. Follow the old nose, yeah.
You want me to do another wilderness check here? Or does anyone else want to do the final check?
I might be able to remember where, I think it was the Romans who also dug down here for quite some time. I might be able to figure it out, but this is going back
Don't
quite
be
a long
so
time.
shy, Edward. You're a clever man. I trusted you long years in being my barista. So rattle your brain, think about it, have a go.
Right. Make a positive flip.
Romane Deus Exuant. What? Hang on a moment.
Well, oops, indeed. And you won't be able to
wait
cheat.
a minute. Oh wait, that was Romans go home. No, wait a minute. No, it's the other way around. Romans come here. Romani Vidi Vici, I think, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Nonetheless, we should go that way.
Are you going to object, or are you going to royally fail? You'll take 2 damage if you object to your Black Joker.
Oh, I thought I just couldn't object altogether to a Black Joker. I'd take 2 damage, would I?
You would. I believe, and I will double check this. I believe the rules as they state are that you may attempt to reflip a check involving a Black Joker, but if you choose to do so, it strains your body and injures you.
Power of fate.
I'll take the strain. I'll take the strain.
All right, let's have a look. Just so I saw objection.
So I object.
If the action involves a Black Joker or Red Joker, you suffer 2 damage and must discard your entire hand. So yes. So that's the penalty.
That was easy enough. I only had 1 card left.
Well, there you go.
All right.
All right. You may flip again, as you have objected. It is a positive flip again, to mention. So flip 2 cards, take the highest.
Just wait. It has nothing to do with Romani at all. What a silly idea. No. Sorry. Yes, this is the correct path. Quite right. So we're all good. We're all fine. Yes. Normani Vidi Vici. That's right. No, wait, that was later on. Well, God, I don't know. One of them stuck around, and well, it's definitely us.
Well, whomever stuck around, you can see that there is indeed a large doorway that seems to be built, like it's like an arch, but it's bricked up. There's no way through.
Might this be a time for Goliath to come to the fore?
Edward walks forward, knocks 4 times, and as soon as he hits the 4th time, you hear the sounds of hissing. Not like a snake or anything like that, but like something sort of rushing. You may, all of you, make a notice check as you look around. Target number is 11. I see a couple of people have made it already. All right. Who failed the target number 11 notice check? That would be Ludovica, Scarpati, and Edward. Now, you guys who have failed, you hear the noise but don't think anything of it. However, Hortensia and Billum, you both recognize this as salt. More specifically, Billum, you're probably more experienced with this. It is superheated salt. Back in Malifaux, the Neverborn were well known for having trapped some of their more expensive and lucrative dig sites to protect it from intruders by superheating salt and then pressurizing it and placing it in traps, not too dissimilar to what you think might possibly happen here. So those who are unwelcome would get a very firm spritz of a face-melting type of acid made of salt.
Just the kind that would outwards or
yeah. So basically when the door opens, you believe from the noise that's coming around, it will likely shoot up from grates beneath the feet of Edward.
Doors open.
I would like to grab him and pull him backwards, please.
All right, make an evasion check, Edward, with a positive flip as the good Madam Fiddlewick has grabbed you and suddenly pulled you to one side. Not like that.
Madam, not in the sewers, please.
He brushes you off.
Yeah, you
almost playfully. All right. Well, you sadly, alas, fail. As a huge torrent of salt erupts from the place where Edward was standing. You take, oh, that's not what I wanted to see. You take 8 points of damage.
Oh.
Um,
He's gonna be salty about that.
do I get the feeling, seeing that he's been dissolved, do I get the feeling that this might kill him?
Hold on. What's your negative hit points at the moment? Let me do some calculation. What's your negative hit points?
You really want to know?
Yes.
Minus 10.
Wait, what? You're
Well, no,
minus...
I suppose it wouldn't be. It would be minus 4.
All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, so minus 4, meaning, according to this, your odds of...
Well seasoned.
Yes, you're very well seasoned. You are delicious.
I have salt in places that nothing has ever been before.
Do you feel assaulted?
Okay, so negative 4. So
Yeah.
Now, yes.
16. Okay. So there is 1, 2, 4. So there is a chance he might die. Yeah, there's a chance he might die.
Put some vinegar on him.
So, I would like to use my ability, Fate Worse Than Death, which allows me to save one person from dying, but reducing my hit points to 0.
Okay. Well, all right. In which case, Professor Scarpati, as the wave hits, all of a sudden, everyone kind of gets this, I suppose, this shuddering sense that echoes through the chamber. The professor holds on and clutches his walking stick and closes his eyes. As the world around him starts to shake for a moment, everything seems to twist and shift and move. Edward, you are standing where the professor was, and Professor, you have just knocked on the door in order to open it. As Ludovica has gone to try and grab you, you kind of brushed her away, like not aggressively, as you kind of almost have this look of acceptance, and you instead take enough damage to bring you down to 0. We are going to flip a toughness challenge. What's your toughness score? You got an 8.
Sorry, I'm looking for that. What can I find?
Toughness is a resilience check. If you don't know
resilience. I've got a +2 there.
You remain conscious, and the effect is, that's not so bad. You take 2 extra damage, but it does not provoke a critical effect. So as you are hit, you suffer from some very severe burns. But
which means that I would be down to -2, right?
Yeah, but you are but that is actually okay. You're still conscious. You're just very badly injured. You guys watch as the acid burns have, of course, covered Scarpati almost entirely. He is in quite an amount of pain, but he is alive and stable. He's not, dead. Yeah. What's your reaction to this?
Oh! So I try and charge forward and grab a hold of him, pull him out of the steamy salt mist. Acid.
All right. As you grab hold of him, he's very tender. There's almost like this crinkling sound as you grab onto one of his arms.
Professor, what on earth just happened? Are you all right?
I would be lying if I would say yes, but I couldn't see you getting dissolved there. I had to. Well, I'm old and you're my friend. I'm glad I could rescue you.
I don't know what to say exactly. Thank you.
Saved you, great pillock. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm using the sacramental wine that I may or may not have brought with me to wash off some of the salt and stuff.
It is
that
actually,
burns.
apart from being painful, it is
Oh, it's good
actually
for you, be
reasonably
quiet.
effective. Can you make a doctoring skill, please, as you attempt to try and cure off some of the wounds?
If
Ludovic,
I do that, there is a chance I'm just pouring it in his mouth. But yes, I can try.
there is also that chance.
Aber Herr Professor, ist das ziemlich erschrecklich?
Oh no, she's speaking in tongues. She's in shock.
I'm speaking German.
Well, same thing, darling, same thing.
Have you been to Vienna sometime? I remember that accent.
Yes, I might have been with my husband a long time ago.
They're having very casual chats. You're fairly sure that John Scarpati is dying. That's clearly why he's, amidst this whole thing, talking about a trip to Vienna. It's like, one day we shall see the lights of Vienna once more.
Look, have a drink.
He's fine though. You end up healing him for 2 hit points. So you're back on 0, but for the most part, apart from your very, very surface injuries, you are okay.
Also, we
Right,
still
Dawn.
need you, Professor. As I understand, we are looking for your vehicle.
Yeah.
Vehicle?
If anything
Vehicle.
happens, if anything happens, Billum has instructions, but I will do my best.
Just because you're old and frail, it doesn't mean you gotta die.
No, I didn't. I'm okay, and thanks to the treatment from the prima donna, I feel quite all right now. I think. How about we stop fuzzing around me and focus back on where we wanted to go? That's a lot of attention I'm getting right now.
Professor, I do think that we have a rather bad conundrum then, because it seems like the contract that you made or may not have made with that radio man is null and void. He didn't say anything about death when opening the door. I think that's grounds for dismissal straight away, to be perfectly honest with you. And now we still don't know where Primrose Hill is.
What's going on with the door now? Is it open? Is it closed?
Indeed, the door is open, and on the other side is a stairwell leading upwards. There is light from the street above shining down. Of course, this light, as you know, is from the Burning Man, who is burning up in the sky, creating an illumination even in this time of night, almost as bright as day. But you can see it clearly from the sewers below.
Well, darlings, I think we've got to the nice part of London, shall we?
As you begin to make your way up onto the street surface, the sounds of chaos and carnage have never been clearer. Here on Primrose Hill, much of the water has basically run off and down into the lower areas of London. Many of the buildings here have remained relatively unscathed by the catastrophe, though a few seem to have spouted geysers in the center of these buildings and shoot up almost like a water feature in the middle of the street, raining down droplets of water, even now, creating almost a false rain. As you kind of take your time to look around and gain your bearings, you can see now the full scope from this high vantage point of the sheer and unbridled carnage. Not only is there water destroying buildings, giant shadows move within the water's murky depths. You can see countless portals opening and closing all over London, flocks of those creatures flying overhead, people still being picked up and pulled from buildings and then dropped from incredible heights. And worse still, nearby you see a large banner, a tabard hanging from a long street lamp with a symbol of the guild. It is here you realize where exactly you've come across. and this is a guild outpost in front of the Primrose Garden.
Well,
Inside,
the neighborhood's gone quite downhill, hasn't it?
inside, you can see it is occupied now by a legion of guild guardsmen who have been trying frantically to mobilize. A great number of destroyed or malfunctioning or waterlogged machineries are fast at work being put together and repaired, and a crowd of civilians are trying desperately to get access inside the compound, to get somewhere safe. They even though the gardens themselves don't offer any particular shelter, the simple, I guess, feeling is that the guild would be able to protect them, but they do not want any of the civilians to approach the camp. They do not want anyone to breach the gardens, and are being quite aggressive about it, with a few riot breakers remaining kind of on guard and vigil.
What hope do we have of affecting any of this? Perhaps the best thing to do, Professor, would be to get your dirigible and just leave. Honestly, I mean, we could go somewhere that's... Anywhere would be better than this. Well, except for France. But, I mean, anywhere else would be better than this.
Yeah, Spain's nice this time of year.
Well...
Yeah, I think we shouldn't get us dragged into new stuff here. Let's try to avoid any complications here. I would say though, do we see the statue? Do we see the statue?
That was my question.
That's okay. Looking around, you turn your gaze to try and find the statue. You don't recall there being any kind of guild statue like erected here, and that is when you see it. A very notable statue in the just kind of in the streets. It's like an art exhibit that was kind of placed there, originally depicting a woman in the embrace of a dance with a beautiful angel. However, the beautiful angel has had its head very lazily chopped off and replaced with a metal, it's like sort of like a brass ram's skull, a symbol, of course, of the guild itself. Whether this was done by supporters or done by people who hate the guild, whatever it is a defacement of art and culture.
Indeed, it is a travesty. Now, Professor, when I put this on that, what's going to happen?
I have no idea. I would take a little note and I would just write, "Thanks for the warning" on it. And I would hand it to you and I think, I think it's up to you if you want to take the original or this note to stick on the statue. So you now have one, the original one and one that says just "Thanks for the warning."
Well, as we say in the opera world, why not both? I walk over and I stick them both on the statue.
All right. As soon as you stick both on the statue, the one with the symbol on it ignites into flame, a green burning flame. And as it does so, you watch as the statue itself begins to melt, just literally just blah, 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 and turns into a puddle of steel and brass.
I'm backing away. Backing away
You
fast.
kind of step away to get it. You don't need to run away from it. It's not exploding or anything. It's almost as if the heat were isolated in the Is Janet really good at freezing, or is she like crashed? No, she's really good at freezing. You did great. I was like, oh my god, is she gone? No. Yeah. So the really good at freezing. So the or should I say doing the statue? So yes. As this happens, the portals around the pretty much close to the Primrose District start to exhibit strange behaviors. Rather than a constant stream of water, you watch as they sort of splutter out and stop spewing water altogether, almost as if like someone's turned off a faucet nearby.
Huh. There we go. I knew it would all be all right. You worrying fuddy-duddies, honestly.
Most of the ones
Piling luck.
Most of the ones around the city are still like pouring and still, it's still terrible. But Primrose, for the most part, seems to have. You even watch the one with the geyser shooting out of the building. All of them start to ease up a little bit.
If I remember back, have I seen other statues with cut off heads and rams on them through the journey through our adventure here?
Through your adventure, I would like anyone and everyone, if they want to make a history check as you try to recall these statues. Oh wow, I feel like everyone remembers them. Except for Tim.
Ironically.
That's an 8 on my hand.
All right. Outside of the courthouse, Edward, you have a strong recollection of you thought of it nothing, but the other day you feel like someone desecrated Lady Liberty, a statue of Lady Justice, and replaced its head with a ram. Ludovica, you remember at King's Cross Station, someone had erected what looked to be a pylon with a ram's skull on it. Billum and Hortensia, you remember that someone or some individual I was talking to you recently about an art exhibit that was confiscated by members of the Avalon Society. Billum, John has no recollection of this, but you believe that he had actually taken this individual art exhibit, as it were, and stored it away in the in his hideout, little bunker.
Fascinating.
Didn't you get an art exhibit similar to this kind of depiction?
I can't remember right now. I'm getting a lot of stuff. It's like, well, if I have one, we might find it in the warehouse.
Well,
Are we saying that it's these infernal statues that are causing this to happen? Wouldn't that make sense if the governor of the guild had attempted to unite himself with some, what was it, a warlord or a tyrant of Malifaux? Do you think the statues are being used as a perhaps like a one of those new things, a telephone sort of thing to call?
Yes,
contact?
focus points or ley lines or some of those.
Oh, right. Well, yeah,
things. I mean,
yeah.
goodness knows, but perhaps they are being used to amplify his power. Isn't that what Spring-Heeled Jack was talking about before? Amplifying power or something. That's a thing, right?
So throwing your mind
Ludovica?
back to that particular bit of knowledge, Spring-Heeled Jack mentioned that Earth has very little ties to magic, and conduits, magic items, soul stones, and the like are how magic gets enhanced. You believe that these wards, whatever they are, must be in some way, shape, or form enhancing some of these powers. Whether or not, who put it there and what their goal is completely, could be anything. But as you are contemplating this, you hear the sounds of screaming coming from the guild camp. Almost as if a wall had suddenly been taken down, hundreds of speckled, crawling, piscine monsters suddenly wriggle their way and crash into the actual gardens themselves, pulling themselves up from the raging surf, which bothers them. It doesn't even remotely faze them as they drag themselves off and start grabbing at people. Some are fortunate enough to be slain on the spot, while others who fight back seem to be dragged into the water. Even the large peacekeepers, unleashing gouts of flames from their flamethrowers, seem to kill only but a handful of them, where one falls, 5 or 6 emerge from the surf. They're slowly crawling over the people, and there is panic.
Lord.
Time to leave. Now,
Yeah.
quickly. Once we're in the air, we can figure out a plan with these blasted statues.
where is the
Yes.
warehouse?
Scarpati, the warehouse is not far away. And making
Yeah.
haste, you can use more or less these people as a distraction. The question is that what you guys do?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Very
Time to
well.
leave. I agree with Atwood.
I love how Ludovic is like sort of giving me the side eye. I'm not sure what to read in that. It's like a yes, if only I could kill more on the way out, or if it's an I wish to do something.
Is there stuff dying around me? Because
Oh Jesus. Yeah, very well. With a large inhale. Please flip a card. That is how many souls you consume.
Oh my god. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Holy moly!
You must have been hungry.
Ludovica becomes a blur of motion because every soul she consumes, she gets a free movement. So she's basically all over the place and inhaling a green glow and emitting a green glow from her eyes and her mouth.
Ironically, I've never seen her look more alive.
Very true. Actually,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
you watch as her motions become kind of accented by this smoky green wispiness. As this movement now basically turns her into the Flash, you all continue to run, making your way towards Scarpati's bunker. Now, a short distance away, you see a very small. What did they have instead of jazz bars back then? Whatever was in the 1900s, where people would go to drink coffee and brood about stuff.
Coffee
That
house.
was coffee house. Very well. It's a small coffee house. It's a dirty, gritty, miserable-looking place, and it looks like no one goes there. It looks like one of these pretentious places in high society. Next door, however, is an unmarked and unlabeled building. Billum, with the key in hand, you walk to the door and open. And instead of a door into a building, it's a stairwell leading down to a big, solid iron door. The key also works on this second door, and as it opens, you see a colossal open warehouse filled with at least 20 to 30 rows of immensely stacked and sized crates, each meticulously labeled. Some crates are tiny and small, others are huge and massive. Some seem to have a very distinct shape. Some are being kept with signs that say, please make sure that it is this way up. John, you have no idea what exactly is in here precisely, but you know that somewhere in this mess, there is, of course, your catalog, which you'll be able to find stuff. The largest of the things that belong to you are actually in the center because they basically had to be lowered in from the rooftop of the building above where you're currently at. You believe that if anywhere, that would be likely where the dirigible prototype ended up.
Yeah, I kind of have a little bit of a collector's habit. I apologize. I would like to, if I remember correctly, I have a catalog somewhere. Let me look for it.
How are you feeling, Professor?
What am I feeling?
How's your health?
Well, I have been healthier before. I feel like I'm very close to collapsing soon.
Considering that we probably don't have time to rest, let me. She breathes out green fog and kind of pushes it towards Scarpati. I breathe out soul energy to. How much are you missing?
Five wounds.
I'm giving you a +4 because those go in +2 steps. One soul is two wounds.
All right, you restore 4 wounds as the soul energy sort of invigorates you. Honestly, you never felt better before. Your varicose veins that stick out from your various points suddenly take a shade of green to them, for the time being at least.
Also, Professor,
Darling.
if you ever want to return to your natural hair color, let me know and get me to visit a battlefield.
Thank you. I'm not a vain person. I think that's okay. They're falling out anyway, so it would be a loss. But this
We can reverse that.
Let's chat about that a little bit later.
I feel like this has suddenly taken a Bram Stoker turn at some point. No idea where, but this is cool. I dig this.
Don't give a soul eater 8 ranks.
Right.
Well said, Montague. Well said.
You need a little
darling,
bit.
darling Ludovica.
Yes.
Darling, I love you, darling.
But
Please don't do that in public. It's
this is not public.
I'm here. I feel like it's terribly public for that kind of
Well,
reading.
that's your feeling.
Very, very much my feeling, darling. I love you, but please, please.
Look, have a drink, love.
The doggy.
Thank you.
The doggy that is actually a writhing mass of undead nuns goes, whoop.
Yep. Just chugs the freaking bottle of vodka. All right.
Better. Much better. Thank
Don't
you.
take the names off.
Professor,
Yes.
aside from what's just happened now, which I'm pretending, I'm not entirely, I mean to say that, well, yes, possibly the less said on that, the better. That I feel that none of this is catalogued in your will.
Well, not in the one that you have. This is kind of, let's say there are things I need to protect even beyond knowledge outside of important. Sorry, I'm not saying important people that are less important, but I want to keep some secrets. And my associate, my successor, Billum, has all the information he needs.
But you know, you don't understand. He can't. He doesn't have any rights. So anything that you have not declared will be given to the state. That's what I'm worried about. Well, I really don't want you to die now more than before. But if we are to, I mean, it's a minor point. I understand, but I'm
Well, if I
grasping at the
remember-
law here. It is the only thing that seems to be
Yeah,
real.
if I
at the
remember
moment.
correctly, the building is part of my will. It's just what's below the building was not included, and that is not in any interest of the state. Who owns the key owns the entrance, I would say. So
Well, technically,
if you feel better now that you know that this place exists, I'm willing to agree to do a little addendum to my last will for your sake.
well, I think with Madame Molenbeek around, perhaps wills are no longer a thing. Technically, apparently you
Yeah.
can take it with you once you go. And you can come
It
back for
has
it.
a weird taste, though. Not sure if I like the flavor of souls.
Those weren't the tastiest ones, to be
Yeah.
honest. I've had
Okay.
better.
Is it weird that I'm kind of in a place where it's almost like a bird feeding a baby bird? Is that no? Okay, never mind.
I
That was
didn't
kind of what it
vomit
was like.
souls into his mouth.
I think the big thing we should take away right now, Edward, is that what's in this place is what we need.
Psst.
I think
Bilam.
the big thing we should be taking away is the dirigible, darlings. Let's pick up the pace. The apocalypse is coming. I
Right.
mean, it's already here. Let's
Professor Scarpati is going through the catalog trying to find out the right documents. Bilam, you hear a voice. Psst, Bilam. Bilam, can you hear me?
Is that you, Mum?
No, it's not your mother. It is I. La Rouge.
Oh, La Rouge. How'd you get
We're
here?
here. Quick. This way.
Hey, I follow La Rouge.
You kind of walk down one of the corridors and you make your way through. Closer. You're nearly there. I have been hiding here for a while. This place is very safe, also full of so much treasure.
It's all taken care of.
Ah, this is brilliant. I knew you had a long con. This is far greater than anything I expected.
No, no, no. It's going to be different now. It's got to be different. But look,
What, thinking
wait.
60-40 split?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Well, Luz, you must help me. Okay. You eventually come to a small shelf, and there's a box, a tiny box. It's like about the size of a cigarillo case. You know, a cigar case. You know, like one of those, like kind of ones that you flip open. And they're very, very fancy. It's on one of the shelves, and he says, and you can hear the voices coming from inside the box. All right. It appears as though my curiosity has beat. Oh, as soon as you open it, Eddie, can we flip to today's encounter, please? As soon as you open the box, which was actually a lot easier than I thought it'd be, all of a sudden the room is filled with this inky black substance that pours from within. You see that this creature, a mass of gibbering mouths and the like, erupts from within as it is covered with masks, neverborn masks, human masks, you believe gremlin masks as well, and the gremlin mask is the one that seems to be talking to you. Yes, this is the thing you see. There you go.
I feel like your labeling needs to be better, Professor.
As one was not labeled La Rouge.
Dylan, haven't you looked in the notes first?
All right, as
it was La Rouge. La Rouge was talking.
All right, he's a little bit far away. So as you look to basically, you know, sort of open this box and this thing shows up, it turns to you and says,
"Wow, that was much easier than I originally thought. Thank you, little person.
Gremlin.
I'll remember that. Tell me."
I'm going to make you a lot easier.
"I am like nothing you have ever seen before. I am nothing that you can comprehend, for I am delirium."
Duly noted, but I object.
all right. As you object, you see him smile, and as he looks at you, he contorts. I need you to make me a willpower duel.
Why?
Did you hear? Our young Billim is growing up. He's just lodged his first objection.
He's going to become a lawyer.
That's a 7.
Oh, that's okay. You need a 13 to avoid this. How you looking?
Pretty bad.
Wait,
Object, Billum! Object!
What is the check? Sorry.
The check is willpower.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't have anything on my arm. That was leave that one.
All right. For my players who are in the thing, this is the full thing of the creature. There you are. All right. Billum, you watch as the creature's body is incorporeal, but almost like a liquid pours into your mouth. As it does so, your body shifts, changes, and a mask appears over your face that looks to be a replica of your face. Although you are constantly smiling, you are now, you, Anthony, are now playing the role of Delirium. Now, Delirium is an insidious madness captured by John Scarpati in his youth. It is a creature known as a woe, quite literally an embodiment of madness given corporeal form. Usually when something or someone has caused some sort of terrible thing to happen and has manifested their negative emotions. Now, he has been trapped here by John for years and uses a mixture of maddening wails and sort of, you know, abilities and magics and powers in order to try and break free. It wasn't until Billum that he's finally managed to gain a semblance of freedom. And right now, there is only 3 things on his mind. The first is revenge on Professor Scarpati. The second is to find a way to leave, because he can also sense the magics of Malifaux crashing into this place. And number three, to feast on the emotions of someone who is in absolute and utter, to pretty much to push someone to the breaking point of insanity and then eat them. That is your goals. How you wish to play this character is entirely up to you. I of course am not going to say that you are obliged in any way to instantly or murder people. There are stats which are different to Billem's, but for the time being, Billem's body is being taken for a ride. So it is a few moments as Scarpati is looking through these notes when Billem returns. Yeah, there he is. He shows back up after having wandered around for a bit. Scarpati, you pull out the catalog number C798G. You know exactly where this is.
Right. I think I found it. It's a little bit down the hallway, more in the center. So we should be going there.
Michael, just for clarification, we didn't see Delirium going into Billem?
No. For you guys, you would have seen Billem maybe wander off a little bit, but then return shortly after. You heard him sort of maybe like yelling out or saying something, like you would have heard noise. It wasn't dead quiet, but between that and the sound of the rushing waters from London and all of that sort of stuff, you wouldn't have been able to make out the details of any conversation had by Billem during that time.
Okay.
Well, let's get there then.
Yeah. I would take Billem as we walk, and I would be explaining a little bit on how the organization is, how the structure is, where the catalog works, and I'm like, you see, Billem, there are some things here that might be a little bit dangerous. So please read the notebook I gave you before you touch or open anything. Make sure you see there are those little markings when it marks the dangerous parts. So just don't toy around with things in here. I trust you fully. So it was C79HG. I think we're in the B section right now. We need to go a little further.
Indeed, you do. Anyone who wishes to may make a scrutiny check if they wish to, sort of investigate Billem.
Particularly as I'm reaching into my jacket pocket
Yes.
to pull out the book.
Yes.
He should not use his pockets. He uses different things. That is.
Yes, he finds it in his prison pocket. I can just imagine Delirium getting into Billem and going, "Why does this person have so much up his ass?
Why is this brain such a mess?"
Oh my god!
Oh god!
What's worse is it's not complete. It's like a puzzle with like 6 pieces missing.
How long has this banana been in here?
All right, what do we get for our scrutiny checks?
15.
15. Oh, something is definitely wrong. Billem's expression has not changed for a moment, and when I say it hasn't changed, I mean it looks like he is forcing it to maintain a very perfect, straight, forced smile.
Do you need some soul energy too, Billem? Are you all right?
Perfectly fine. Never been better.
Yeah, at this point, I'm going to make a scrutiny check. Because that's not how...
Well.
He looks fine to me. Billem, have you been dropped on your head or something?
I was a kid.
Yes, that explains a lot. So where is this dirigible? Come on.
Right.
I'll pull out the rock.
Scarpati, you point in a direction and you begin to make your way, and everyone kind of follows. Ludovica, you're kind of like keeping an eye on Billem.
Yes.
You're pretty okay with it. Billem, you reach into your pocket and pull out the small book, and as you look through the catalog, it indeed has everything cataloged, and there is one item that is very clearly listed as "Do not open under any circumstance." C643F.
All right.
And there's also a note here. It seems to have a certain chemical compound, which appears to be some sort of tranquilizer, and a notice that it must be, whatever is in like subject must be tranquilized once every day at sunset.
Professor, a thought strikes my mind. When last did you use this dirigible? I mean, it's definitely going to work, isn't it?
It's, well, to be honest, it was a prototype. It'd never been used before. It was more of a concept that I stored here.
Huh.
You designed this prototype?
I was helping. And I have good faith that it's going to work. At least on paper, it worked out perfectly fine. And with my abacus, I did a few calculations, and I think, like, apart from flipping over my abacus a few times, everything turned out pretty good.
Okay, just to make a point here, you know the difference between opera on paper and opera in real life? It's a lot of screaming. I really don't want that to happen here.
I would say trust me, but I don't trust myself on this. I think it's worth a shot. We will see how it plays out. Billum, I don't think that I need the garrote right now. You can put it back.
Sure.
Okay.
I won't put it back.
All right. As you begin to make your way down the corridors and explaining about the dirigible and the like, true to the fact he has never really ridden it, and a little bit of lore here. You know that as far as the whole dirigible technology and stuff goes, the guild has actually forbidden the research into flying vehicles. So that's something that just doesn't get done. As you seem to get closer to the dirigible itself, Billum seems to walk up. I need everyone to make me a notice check with the exception of Billum.
I'd like to point out that I have unassuming, by the way.
Yes.
Six.
All right, Billum, who are you targeting?
My first target would be to be taking down the one that would notice me mostly. Ludovica.
All right, Ludovica. All right, so anyone who got 9 or higher notices that Billum still has the garrote in his hand as he, with that freakish smile on his face, stretches it out and attempts to sneak up on Ludovica.
Ludovica only got a 6, so she's probably looking down at the puppy that maybe is slowly losing its illusionary coherence.
It's gaining arms.
The puppy
there's a lot more arms on that puppy than there was before.
The puppy now has 4 human baby arms as it's walking.
Oh, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
It wags its tail. The tail becomes a tongue.
It's a horror puppy.
It's a horror puppy. Refresh your spell, quick. All right.
Okay, well, I see Billum walking up on Ludovica with garrote. Billum, darling, this is not the time to string a piano. What on earth are you doing?
What piano?
Yes, he's got piano wire out. What on earth? Oh, cheese cutting. There's no cheese around here.
Are you all right, Billum? You seem strange.
Billum always seems strange. But, granted,
I wouldn't have
yes.
assumed that showing him the warehouse would put so much stress on him, but this is a bit beyond normal. Billum, would you step down for a second?
What we're looking for.
As Billum points to the box, that is John, you know for a fact that that is not only not the box that you are looking for, that is the only box in your entire warehouse that has the strict do not open thing. You can tell it because it has air holes in it.
Yeah, I would be as Billum points at it, I would be instantly trying to step in front of it, so between anyone else and the box, and I would be like, no. That one stays closed for our all sakes. That
No.
one is the wrong box.
That one should be open. I'm going to charge at the box. I have a charge of 11, by the way.
Wow. Okay.
I'm going
Billum runs. As he
Will
does
quickly cover my openings.
so, all right. As you do so, you cover your. So at this
Give me a second.
yeah. Clenched the butt cheeks.
Willem the Invader.
Oof. Vlad the Impaler. This is like, you know, the Chinese Whispers version that eventually came to Billum. Hortensia, what are you doing?
I would like to use Disappearing Act.
Ooh.
I would like to make something disappear into thin air. And I
Okay.
want to make that box disappear into thin air because I see it has air holes and I see that John Scarpati does not want it opened, and even I can do that amount of math.
Very well. You cast your magics and you hesto presto the box away. Edward, what are you doing?
Pointing.
I think that's the wrong box. It doesn't look like it's big enough for a dirigible to me. Not that I'm particularly aware of how big.
Actually, it actually does look pretty big for, you know, it's like maybe a 1.5 stories tall.
I thought dirigibles were like 400 foot long.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean,
When
it's a
inflated.
prototype. Maybe it's a little one.
It's inflatable.
Yeah.
I don't think Edward actually knows what's going on at this particular moment in time because his notice was incredibly low. I think he's just looking around. He's just
All right, Ludovica.
Ludovica was trying to taste the air around Billum if there's more than one soul involved.
Oh, there is absolutely more. Well, it's not a soul energy that you sense. It is you definitely know the sense of a woe. It is like, how can I put it? All souls have flavor because of the emotional spectrums that they live, right? It's almost like eating a lemon or, you know, licking a salt lick. It is literally a single flavor, and that is for you very indicative of the woes. They are personifications of different emotions and the like. This one is one of madness.
Cranberries.
All right. As the magic gathers around the box, it spins and spirals, and as it does, all of a sudden, with a magical whoof, the box disappears, leaving what appears to be a pile of bones, a goat with 2 heads, and this creature. Eddie, if you would be so kind. Now, for those of you, I do want to apologize in advance. As I have tried this, and I will apologize for any eardrums because I haven't tested this out properly, but you suddenly hear very clearly as this huge creature takes a few massive steps. Once again, thank you to our lovely audience for once again hitting that square mark in the boss monster battle, and allow me to introduce you to probably one of my favorite monsters in this game, and that is, of course, the dreaded Malosaurus Rex. John Scarpati has memories of his time in his youth where this creature had tore up an entire train line that was supposed to be used to bring supplies to the northern wastes. Its teeth tore through steel like it was butter and ripped up most of the train line as if it had slept with its ex-wife. It was an angry, vicious, nasty, and ornery creature. And he actually, this is a conservation deal. Originally, the guild wanted to dissect and destroy it, but thanks to Scarpati and his connections to the Avalon Society, he actually managed to he treats it rather humanely. Believe it or not, there is actually a whole process where this creature is taken into a large reserve with several animals that have been selected for it to be able to hunt and live. For the most part, however, it does have a large hibernation season. And during that hibernation season, it remains in this box under sedation. However, you have not had time to sedate it today, as, well, you've had other things planned. And this creature knows that, once it gets out of the box, it's going to be fed. So while in the box, it's perfectly fine. However, as we have presto changed that box into non-existence, the dinosaur looks at everyone. It scans. Yes.
Oh, I'd just like to add that the next moment, as the dinosaur is looking and scanning, there's just a moment, and then psst, the box appears back as it does at the end, 5 feet away, and goes clang on the floor.
It startles it for a moment as the creature turns to see where the noise came from. You are in its blind spot for the moment. What do you guys do?
Hey, eat lawyers! I'm out of here!
That's right. The track record for lawyers versus T-Rexes is not high. Oh, wow! Why? Okay, sorry. I just got the message from Eddie. BJ Varo, by the way, from my part, thank you so much for your donations. We love the fact that you're enjoying the show. We love the fact that you've chosen to donate and to support the channel and stuff like that. On the other hand, disadvantage to everyone. So yeah. This will override one of Hortensia's advantages because she has full advantages. So yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for our pain.
Yes. All right. So as it turns away, what is your course of action? Again, you find yourselves flanked by many of these long, very, very multi-storied shelves. You guys are just sprinting down. Are you heading towards the dirigible? Are you splitting up? Are you staying together? What's going on? Let's find out. Let's start with Professor. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's start with the Professor. Professor, where are you going?
Okay, so the last moment I remembered before that happened was that Billum was charging at the box or at me, while suddenly the box disappeared, which was kind of only half the effect that I was hoping for, leaving the T-Rex still there, which means that I would be hoping that Billum is still charging and do a barrel roll to the side, hoping that Billum is charging the T-Rex now and not me.
All right. Make an acrobatics check. If you manage to succeed, I will say that Billum's charge is going to overshoot and will indeed risk running into the T-Rex.
Well, that would be a 6. I think I would cheat that one because I don't want to be stuck between Billum and the T-Rex, so I will make it a 10.
Okay. So the Billum, can you just flip for me? You'll be using the stats for this other creature for the time being. And its acrobatics is not great. Its acrobatics is actually -2. All right, that is a 5. Sorry, Billum, did you say something?
5. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, as soon as you rush, John, you barrel roll to the side, and Billum, you are unable to stop yourself as you basically are about to hit the back of the leg of this creature. You watch as your mouth opens up, and all of you can now see this this giant thing, this madness of teeth and fangs and the like, suddenly pouring out of Billum. And as it does so, it begins to coalesce once again. The dinosaur looks at it and snaps. And then the dinosaur eats it in one big gulp. Hortensia, what are you doing as the scene unfolds?
Well, I'm running. That's what I'm doing. I'm running. I put my thing over my head. And I try to look inedible, and I'm going to go hide behind some crates. There are many crates. I'm going to hide behind some. My eventual plan is to get up high and shoot this thing where it can't eat me. But first of all, I'm going to hide. Yes.
All right, very well. You get up high and attempt to, well, I mean, you will again try to get up high and attempt to hide, but you finally make your way, well, because you didn't say you were following Scarpati, Scarpati is still in the nearby area of the T-Rex. And I'm going to actually move your tiny model so that I can know where exactly everyone is. So Scarpati is over by the Rex. Hortensia, you've gone off in a different direction. You've kind of headed into the corridors in order to try and lose it. Also, you can climb the actual shelves to get higher. So that's kind of the direction you've pulled yourself into. Edward, where are you going? As you are also, for the time being, quite close to the creature. Straight line, path of least resistance.
Far away as humanly possible.
All right. Are you going to head in the way that Hortensia went, or are you going in a different way?
Different direction. If we split up, it can't eat us all at once.
All right, very well. You begin to make your way into a different direction, separating so that you can make yourselves a more wider target. Ludovica and the construct.
I say to Goliath, get bigger, and then turn around to them. Rex.
Mm-hmm.
And try to get a good bite of its soul. I'm using my power pull of the grave. So Ludovica slowly kind of flips her veil up and goes, and opens her arms wide and tries to concentrate her necromantic power on the huge, disgusting creature. And I have to flip for a necromancy check, and it can resist with willpower.
Right, so its willpower is 13. That's what you need to overcome. As you try to suck in its soul energy by force.
Then we're going to then it's not going to work. It doesn't even make sense to cheat because I'm short of 1 point. Because it says I have to flip against an 8, and under resist it says willpower. Then it, how does it?
Well, yeah. So basically, you'd have to beat a 13, like of whatever suit you need to cast the spell.
Well, then that was a lost chance. And I draw my pistol. That's it. I'm probably now standing directly in front of the monster like a huge idiot.
All right, the dog. As you watch its body suddenly increase in size. Now, it is not as big as this Rex is, but it does get a lot larger. Eddie, can we get a picture of Goliath on screen, please? As the dog's arms then become this flexing muscles, its shoulders pad out, its legs become huge and quite powerful. Billum, you regain consciousness, as it were. One moment you were talking to LaRouge, who was clearly in a box. The next minute you're kind of looking at what you think is a tree. You feel it. Oh, there's something so familiar about it. It's almost like home. You remember the bark of the wood back in the mosses around the bogs. Your eyes open. It's kind of like a scaly hide, almost like a crocodile, but like a tree, a crocodile tree. You look up to see the top of the crocodile tree. Oh yeah, this is definitely a crocodile tree. 100% a goddamn crocodile tree.
Shit.
And with that, that is where we will leave today's session, with Billum looking square up at this thing going, shit. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I had an absolute blast. And thank you to the sadist in my audience. You are absolutely fantastic and incredible. Again, like always, because our boss monster did come in within the last half an hour, I followed through with my my usual thing. I want the boss monsters to kind of be a thing. So we are turning it into a fight for next week. Now, keeping in mind, guys, fights in Malifaux do not necessarily need to be long, drawn-out combats with glorious battle. Sometimes just running away is a perfectly acceptable answer. You guys
Or just
also...
dying right away.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. I should do one thing. You know, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to do one more thing. Can we get the T-Rex back up? Super quick, Eddie. I'm going to do one more thing. I'll do one more thing. I was going to do it, and then I forgot I was going to do it, and now I want to do it. Yeah, we go. All right. As the T-Rex turns around and sees Billum and Scarpati and Ludovica and Goliath, the T-Rex looks and says,
Hello, John. Did you miss me?
No.
and that's where I'll end. Ha 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 ha. Because now it is also possessed by an insidious madness, which is, of course, going to be driving this giant tank very much directly against Professor Scarpati. So I'm very happy about this, mostly because I definitely love the Malosaurus Rex. It's, like I said, one of my favorite things. It's basically a T-Rex. Who doesn't like T-Rexes? The other thing that to let you guys know what was actually in the actual thing before the Malosaurus Rex, it was actually a terrarium with what looked to be like kind of like an anglerfish person, and they were swimming around. But that's not the case now. Now it's a T-Rex. No, I had a fantastic time, and of course, my players hopefully had a great time. Did you guys feel like you guys got through a bit and did some stuff? There are some great moments, and I really wish we did like kind of an unpack thing, but of course it's quite early or quite late depending on where we happen to be. But one thing I do want to unpack very, very quickly is I am loving Professor Scarpati's contributions in today's episode. The scene with the salt and stuff like that, I just want to say kudos. That was such a great moment for you guys, and I think I quite enjoyed it. Did Janet just give you that beholder, like just pass it to you, like, oh, here you go.
Yes. Janet, catch. Yeah, I'm ready. Oh, I got it. Thank you.
It's like magic. All right.
Prestidigitation.
And speaking
That's
of magic,
why you
of
need
course,
illusionists.
That's true.
Yeah, that's why you bring me. Because I drink wine and make things disappear. Like protective caging.
like the wine, for example. The wine all right, now of course let us give our outros and give our thanks, of course, to our wonderful players. Tell us, guys, where can we find all of your stuff, starting with, of course, none other than the ever wonderful Billum, who plays, of course, Anthony, who plays the role of Billum.
No, Billum plays me.
Who also apparently plays an Insidious Madness. That was creepy as shit, dude.
Thank you. I had a wild time tonight. But yeah, I've been playing Billum, the Insidious Madness, who loves to get up inside you. And I think my aim for the next session is to get inside of a T-Rex.
Please don't. I'd have to figure out how to get you out. That's my biggest issue, is not you getting in, it's trying to figure out how to get you out.
Reverse peristalsis. Come out the front.
Yeah, I'm Anthony, otherwise known as Vegemite Dangerous. I'm from Roll for Damage, an Australian D&D channel, or TTRPG channel. You can find me there pretty much all the time doing things. We've got shows running all the time. It's the crazy madhouse that I run. But yes, that's where you can find me.
Fantastic. And next up, of course, playing the role of Professor Scarpati. Till, where can we find all your stuff?
You can find all of our stuff at dungeonfork.com, or just using DungeonFork, the handle DungeonFork, on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or wherever or on Google, just enter it. It's a map making tool, so if you're playing with battle maps and you need some battle maps, just go there, sign up a free account, and, well, have a go at map creation.
It is actually a lot of fun, and if you ever want to watch some of Till's maps and stuff in action, then you should head on over to the How to Be a Great GM channel, being run, of course, by our ever delightful Guy from How to Be a Great GM, playing the role of Edward. Hello, Guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us, what have you got going at the moment?
God, nothing in comparison to this.
What, no
Well,
giant T-Rexes attacking your turncoat allies while you're trying to find a dirigible to fly into the star that is a burning man above London?
Yeah. There's
This
that.
is payback, by the way. You know, this whole series was built as a payback to you.
Fairly certain.
Good.
Look at it! It's even trying to eat me! Look at it!
That's it.
I knew it! I knew it! The lower always gets eaten by the T-Rex.
Yes,
Anyway,
that's
you
right.
can find me at How to Be a Great GM on YouTube, where we do all sorts of crazy things. I'm looking forward to next week's game with you, Michael. So they should definitely come and find that on Great GM Live on YouTube. It's going to be an absolute blast in one way or another. I'm not sure.
Oh, they'll be blasting. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And we'll have an ad for that, so you guys can see the poster and whatnot. And by the way, as another reference back to Till and to, of course, the next person I'm going to be talking about, Janet. If you want to see a really, really great example of what you can actually do with Dungeon Fog, I highly recommend, if you haven't watched them yet, Guy did a show for Kobold Con. That was a great example of some of the stuff that you can actually do, because there was actually videos on how he built the maps for that. And there is also the Wizards of Kanbari series, which I featured in, that also showcased a very great array of some of the tools that you can use and how you can basically run a VTT via Dungeon Fog. So some pretty cool stuff there. So check that out. And of course, if you wish to see more of Guy and Till, you can find them on some of the tutorial videos on world building during their Circle of World Building tutorial that happened at the end of last month or a couple of weeks ago.
End of May, yeah.
End of May. It was at the end of May. It was fantastic, and lots of the content is still available for you guys to watch out. And of course, featured the ever wonderful and talented Janet. Janet, tell us where we can find you and your awesome things as well.
Sure, absolutely. I am Janet from World Anvil. It was recently pointed out to me that I am one of the very few female CEOs in the gaming writing business, which is kind of nice. And I run World Anvil, which is where you can build worlds and organize them and show them off if you want to, and also run campaigns and also write novels and publish them. So pretty much a one-stop shop for anyone doing creative stuff. In addition, we have a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel, and we go live 5 times a week talking about gaming and writing and world building and getting on experts as well. So you can find all of that at World Anvil at the various locations on the internet. If it says World Anvil, it does. And we just want to help you guys make beautiful things.
Awesome. And of course, one of the most popular people I find in the gaming circuits in Europe, and of course, one of the most popular people in my little circle of people, because I like them and I love them. Myri, tell us, where can we find you? What mischief are you up to? You've been doing so much stuff. I like almost every day now. I feel like there's been something on.
Yes, and it's all in German, so you don't understand shit. Sorry.
You know what? I don't, but at the same time, I love the enthusiasm, and it encourages me to eventually learn German. I've picked up some phrases that I can understand.
Yes.
I understand when people are frustrated and say swear words. I definitely picked that up.
And we've got some great ones. We've got some really great ones. I mean, our language usually sounds to people like we're swearing anyway. So when we really start swearing, that's an experience. Also, yeah, I do TTRPG stuff. I GM, I write, I name it, and I probably tried it at least. That's all in Orkenspalter TV or under my Stritter.
Do you have any?
Dritter is the German pronunciation.
Stritter.
Close, but no cigar. Yeah.
I can't roll my S's like without making it sound like I'm swearing. Yes, no, lots of really cool stuff. Actually, I'm gonna pitch this as well. There are actually some like, for me, I actually struggle with science fiction as one of my main genres. I am actually not a fan of science fiction. I've only recently come into enjoying it myself. I know, shake your head all you want, I did not enjoy Star Trek, and I had to be part of a Star Wars LARP group for 3 years. Okay, it changes a man. Anyway, I digress. I digress. Watching Myri play in games such as Star Trek and the Shadowrun and Cyberpunk and stuff like that. That was Cyberpunk you were doing the other night, wasn't it? Yes? No? Am I making it up? I could be lying.
Come again, Cyberpunk? No, we didn't play Cyberpunk 20 whatever yet. We do Shadowrun a lot because a lot of our players.
Go check this out because seriously, it is still some very inspirational stuff and can definitely help you on your way into. I'm getting objected to in my chat by my players for the fact that I'm not enjoying sci-fi. So I'm gonna have to do.
No, not sci-fi. Star Trek.
Star Trek.
I will fight you.
Look, the only time I felt the only thing I loved Star Trek was the brand new movies with the last 3 ones, and even like the one with the guy who played that dude from Heroes. That was it. That was it.
Myri's left.
Myri's left.
Oh, Myri's left.
Myri's left.
That's how much she's
objected. That's it. That's what's happened, and now we're all different people, which is
protest
amazing.
that.
All right, and on that note, guys, my name is Michael, and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer. You can find my face pretty much everywhere. Anyway, you type Dead Aussie Gamer, you'll find me. I'm on other people's channels. I do stuff on How to Be a Great GM. I do stuff on Dungeons & Dragons. I do stuff here on Mercs of Mischief, and I do stuff on my own channel. If you want to see all my behind-the-scenes stuff, I do a lot of my GM prepping on that channel. Also, if you guys would love, stick around, follow this channel because there's tons of really exciting and cool stuff here, including the Avalon Knights Academy, of which is the Avalon Society is a spiritual kind of adjacent setting with the same kind of notions. And of course, Too Many Warlocks. And if you would like to, head on over to the Mercs of Mischief YouTube channel where you can catch up on all the playbacks, as well as some really cool videos on assembling, making, and creating Hero Forge minis with a bunch of named celebrities. So yeah, go check those out as well. And last, but of course, certainly not least, we have Eddie behind the scenes running our tech desk. If you want to go check him out, head on over to Tabletop Explorers, where you can see some of his very, very cool and awesome work as well. And as we sign off for yet another game, Eddie, can we show the 1st of July thing? Because this is a nice big one, and I'd like to talk about it. And that is, of course, on July 1st. Some of us will be playing on the Great GM Live channel in a game called Maximum Apocalypse. And if you thought London Falls was full of chaos and mayhem and anarchy, then definitely go and check this out. I'm going to be playing a game with, yes, by the way, that is actually a felted friend who will be in attendance. We are playing with some very colorful characters in this particular game. So definitely check that out. That is next Wednesday, July the 1st, or if you're in Australia, New Zealand, it'll be like midnight, July the 2nd. But yeah, it'll be on the evening or morning of July the 1st. So yeah, go check that out. Share some love. It will be there. And thank you so much, guys, once again. Till next time, as always, from us to you, game hard or die trying. Bye, everyone.